This is Adam Heibel, and you're listening to the Bladeology podcast.
God damn it, now it just went back to that other...
Okay. Here we go. I'm just gonna record.
Right. You're already recording.
All right, so everybody ready? Because we're about to do this.
I guess.
All right. So we're gonna jump into it like we always do. Welcome to another episode of the Bladeology podcast. We're on this week with Jeff VanderMeulen, Jeremiah Burbank from PVK Vegas,
Trooperin of NCC Knives,
Elijah Isham from Isham Blade Works.
and Jeff VanderMeulen from
Jeff,
VanderMeulen
that's your cue.
Blade Works.
So Jeff, let's jump into it. What are you working on right now? What's going on in the shop today?
Working on a Bally song for you, actually.
Oh, is that right?
The Mokatai, orange peeled Mokatai handles. I got them all colored right before the conversation here, and then I just got to shorten up the stop pins and pivots to get her timed out right and nice and tight.
Nice.
Yeah,
All right.
that one yesterday.
What's that?
I saw pictures of that one yesterday.
Yep, that's the one.
That's pretty awesome.
Now, are you building anything for the shows? Or you're not attending Cali or Blade West?
No, I'm not doing any shows until the gathering next year, I think. I might do Blade Show this year. I'm not sure yet.
You gotta do Blade Show.
What's that?
You gotta do Blade Show.
I know, but
You always do it. I mean, you've never missed since you've.
I didn't go last year.
You didn't?
No.
Wow. Could have sworn you were there.
No, I've been there every year since 2012, I believe, except for last year.
Oh wow.
Oh.
So Jeff, what year was your first Blade show?
I believe it was 2012, maybe 2011.
Okay.
I shared a table with Jeremy Marsh my first show.
Oh, there we go. So that's perfect. So
It's a little history for you. Yeah.
yeah, how did you get into knife making? Where did you start? Give us a little history.
It started back when I was married. My wife just quit coming home, and I was sitting around. It was the winter, so it was dark by the time I got home from work. Nothing to do. I was playing around on Facebook every night after work, and said, "This sucks. I need something to do." And I called up Jeremy and said, "Hey, I got to come over and make some knives."
So Jeremy was a friend of yours before.
Yeah. I had made one knife with him. I got laid off from Brigade Fire Protection where I used to work for about 9 years. I got laid off, and when I got laid off, I went over to his place and made a knife, Vanquish, frame lock with a W2 blade on it. And about a year later, that's when I called him during the winter and said, "I got to come over and make some knives." And I started making a mini Vanquish and a couple other knives. I think I started 3 of them, never completely finished them. And he said, "Dude, you should design your own." And that's where I designed the intro and then the mini intro. And then he told me that if they turned out good, I should go to Blade Show with them. And then he goes, "You should go to Blade Show." And I went to Blade Show and sold them all to Arizona Custom Knives. They bought all the mini intros, and the intros went over to Russia.
Oh wow. Okay.
So Arizona took a chance on you before you even actually sold anything.
Yeah.
Very not like them.
Well,
That's cool.
yeah. And the thing that's cool that I think is cool is that my first knives, I always think of them like, man, they weren't any good, because they were I didn't know what I was doing. But when I see one of those knives today, I'm like, holy shit, this thing's nice. It's weird, but
I know exactly how you feel. Sometimes I just got an old one that's 4 years old in warranty. I was like, oh, this is not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
yeah, and I don't know. It's weird though how we think that, but we wouldn't be where we are if we made shitty knives. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Those intros, those were the Bowie design, right? The original.
Yeah. And that design actually, I used to carry a Buck 110 folder, and I loved it. I used it for everything, and so I
It's
wanted
like a beefy Buck 110.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't even look like one or really resemble it, but that's what
Same
I wanted
concept.
to make a knife similar to that, like something like that. But I didn't look at it or trace it or anything when I did it. That's what I had in my mind.
That's good. It's a practical blade shape.
Yeah, I like it. It's your basic knife, really. And then, so I made that intro, and then Tyler Hensley bought one from me, and he asked me if I had ever thought about making a intro with a double choil, like to choke up on. And I'm like, yeah, I could do that. So I kind of started messing around with a little pattern. I'm like, this looks gay. I go, if I'm gonna build it, I want to build something that you can worth choking up on, and that's where the double homicide came from.
There you go. All right, stepping it up.
Yeah, and they don't even look the same at all, but that's the evolution of the double homicide, how it came about.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people just, they challenge you or they ask you to do something, and it seems crazy at the time, I guess, and then you do it, and you're like, okay, it develops into something.
Right. Yeah, when I did it originally, I had no idea how to do a compound grind or anything, and he's like, oh, that looks sick with a compound grind, and I'm like, shit, I don't know how to do a compound grind. And
No, that's all you do.
like, what's that? Yeah, I know that. No, that's all I do. But yeah, that's how that came about, and then just the grind and the finger grooves that came like after, I don't know, probably 8 or 10 double homicides, the original.
Now, which one was the investigator? I think I had an investigator.
Instigator. Like a Persian?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's what because I got that after Jim Skelton did a video. I got on your pre-orders. It's a long time ago.
What'd you do with it?
I sold it when I sold my whole collection when I went full time.
Gotcha.
Is that long ago? Damn, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I went full time 5 years ago. So it was right before that.
Jeff, how did the Instigator come about?
I asked this guy named Elijah.
It was half queer.
If he wanted to design, if he could, because Elijah, I forget what he did first for me. I think he drew that, or however you want to say it, drew my
yeah, I'm right here.
my homicide, like based off the double homicide. You drew that smaller version of that. That's
I remember that.
That's how we came into contact. And then I was asking you about if you wanted to draw up a Persian, because when I do patterns or when I design a knife, I can't draw. So I basically take my crayons out and rough something out on a piece of G10 and then grind it until it fits my hand good. And I make it work from there. So I basically build off the pattern. And even when they're drawn on CAD, I take that CAD drawing and cut it out, trace it or whatever, or cut it out, and then I take some 3M glue and glue it onto a piece of aluminum or G10, and then cut it out and grind it to the lines, and that's the base pattern for that model.
So you don't do any CAD?
No, I know how to draw on CAD. I was an engineer designer for Brigade for several years. But for me, when I'm looking at the computer screen, I need to be hands-on. Like, you draw a radius, you draw something that looks cool, and then you print it off, and it's like, whoa, this doesn't even fit in the hand, or, it's oblong. I just have to, I don't know, I'm more of a hands-on type of person.
Yeah, but you got to be able to feel the proportions and everything.
Yeah.
The ratio can switch up when you print it off, and it can be totally different.
Yeah, so for me, it's just easier just to do that. But it is nice to have it on CAD. And it's a pain in the butt to draw something that you already have the pattern for, to draw that on CAD. I mean, to take the measurements and radiuses and arcs and all that crap.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's why I got a 3D printer. Right, I've had it for like 9 months. I've still yet to set the thing up.
Just leave
Once
it.
you do, though, you'll be doing it forever.
No.
Yeah,
Use
but
it for everything.
Once I opened the box, I realized how many pieces that thing is. I was like, oh god.
It's just like a little Haas. It's like a micro
Just have your
Haas.
dad set it up. It's
Yeah,
fine.
that's right. You got an employee now. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Have your employees.
I want to set it up so that way, if it's not working right, I can trace it back.
So Jeff, all of your prototyping is done in like a proper old school way. Like you hand grind all the prototypes before you do anything. If it doesn't feel right, it's no good. It doesn't make the cut.
Basically, yeah.
I dig it. So Go ahead.
Well, I've got a box where I save all my, like, I've got the original thoughts or whatever on the double homicide or even the homicide, and they look goofy. I just kind of set them aside and threw them in a box, and I don't know. But I save all my little, I don't know if you'd even call them prototype models or whatever, but my concepts, call them.
Little concept doodads.
Yeah.
So what's you like? How do you with new models or models you're working on? Like you have a whole box of stuff. You just wake up in the middle of the night and you start drawing stuff. You just grind. Because you're grinding a lot of synthetics here. So what's the process?
Well, I don't have anything. I don't have any new models going on. I'm not even really thinking about any. Well, I do have something in mind, but it's going to be more of a one-off thing.
Well, I saw you working on I think you had like a trapper or a slip joint.
Oh,
that you
yeah.
did?
Yeah, that was actually, that was a kit that I had bought back when I first started making knives. It was a little slip joint kit I got off like knifekits.com or something, or USA Knife Maker.
Yeah, USA Knife Maker. I got one of those too.
I bought that kit at Blade Show from
you think USA Knife Maker? Because I got them too, but like the water jetting was so shit that the thing didn't even line up right.
Yeah, it didn't have the right parts. The stop pins and the pivot were the wrong size, and so I couldn't even build it back then. And I opened up all the pins to hold the knife together. I opened those up to 1/8 inch and 5/32 on the blade pivot, and then just threw it together. And it's basically like Legos. You know, I built it. I'm gonna throw it in a drawer and never use the thing.
There you go.
It'll go in my giant drawer of fixed blades that I just build. So if I don't feel like working, I'm still making knives.
Right.
That's when I make my fixed blades or something for myself, or I don't know. Last week I made a screwdriver handle out of G10. I just layered it up, epoxied it, turned it down on the lathe, and I'll make the dugouts or one headers, stuff like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So the first time I think I was introduced to your knives was at least a few years ago, but yeah,
it was about 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah, the naming is very aggressive. Tell us a little bit about that. Is it just is it for shock value, or is it a practical description of the tool?
The intro was named. I thought about naming it the intro, and then I saw at the knife show, Arizona Custom Knives asked me what model or what's the name of the model, and I go, I haven't really named it yet. I go, I guess I'll go with intro.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's where that came from. Then after the intro, I designed the Barely Legal, which is basically, it's pretty damn close to like just a smaller intro, but it's got a bigger belly, a shorter handle, and that one's called Barely Legal because I made the blade is 3.9 inches, which 4 inches is I don't know, the standard legal limit.
Okay. All right.
So that's why it's called bare legal. Everyone thinks sexual or something when it comes to that, but and then the double homicide was named that because the double choil, and it just looked like a murder weapon.
Ooh, I gotcha.
And then I don't remember what. There was the double homicide and then the homicide, obviously, because it's just a single.
And there's the Homosaurus.
The Homosaurus. That name came from, I think someone commented on Instagram, and I go, dude, that's what it's going to be called.
Wait, Homosaurus? I've always thought it was Homosaurus. I thought it was a joke.
No, that's.
I always thought it was Homosaurus. And that's what you said.
I've heard people call it that, and then there's on Instagram someone hashtag Jeffy like homicide or something, and I went and sent him DMs. I'm like, hey, you got that hashtag wrong. You might want to change it. And I don't know if there's any out there, but
he was like, nah, I got it right. That's all. I was always sure. I thought you named it that as a joke. Okay, that makes more sense.
No.
Because you've only made a couple of those, right? That's actually like a little.
I've only made, I think there's 3 of them, 3 or 4 in circulation, and I have 1.
Okay.
I have the second to last one.
You keep a lot of your own knives, unlike any other maker I know.
Dude, I love knives. I can't afford to buy yours, so I make.
So do I. I love money more, so they end up always leaving in my pocket.
I mean, that's legit though. If you like the knives you're making so much to keep them, I mean, you're doing something right there.
Yeah, every time I see Jeff, he has a new like PC carries. Like last time I saw him, he had a freaking full dress battle song. He's like, I don't want to sell it because it's like Marsh's design, so it's just gonna be in my pocket. I'm like, dude, that's like $1,500 of materials in your pocket.
That was Dwayne Wickham with EDC. That's his design, and and Jeremy made a few of them, and then Dwayne said that I could make them too, and he's like, he likes to see his, because he designs and draws stuff. He doesn't actually make things himself.
Yeah.
So he likes to see, people bring it to life or whatever, and I like that blade shape. There's something about that blade shape that's just sick.
Oh, it looks wicked. I think you had it at
was
it USN last? Yeah, USN last year.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely the profile is
I had that I had that Bailey song there, and Dave was throwing it around pretty good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he was. Yeah, we were on the floor, and he was flipping that, getting pretty wild with it.
Yeah, I got
multiply.
I got a little video of him doing it. I posted that on Instagram.
So you've mostly been making folders, a little bit of Bally songs, and you're saying a lot of your fixed blade work you just you do as just for yourself. Like you don't have a fixed blade model that you just make.
Well, I do. I don't get a lot of orders for fixed blades, and honestly, I don't really know how to price them. Like what, they're a little more expensive than other like people that just make fixed blades. But
I put the same kind of grind on it, right?
Well, I've been doing the Instigator line of fixed blades. Like I'll do a 3.5 inch or 3 inch, or no, let's see. Well, my favorite one is the 3 inch, just a straight 3 inch fixed blade, and I wear one around my neck, and I've got it ground about half of the blade's gone from sharpening it so much. That's how often I use it. But I'll take a 3 3/4 inch handle and put a 4 inch or 5 inch blade on it. I'm doing one right now that's I actually made a pattern for it. It's for a lady she's a farmer out in New Mexico, and it's a 3 inch blade with a 3 inch handle, but I shortened up the handle by about an inch so you don't grip it with as many fingers, and it's pretty comfortable. I'm making that with it's gonna have a Galactic Bacon blade, and she sent me some old micarta to use for the handles.
There you go. That old Westinghouse micarta?
I opened up the package yesterday to see what the material was, and she had sent me one of my 3-inch instigators to do a little spa to.
Oh,
And it was late, and I just got distracted. Didn't look at the McCarty yet.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I got some of that
Good
old
chances,
Westinghouse.
Westy.
There.
Thank you.
That old OG stuff.
We're gonna find out right now what it is.
Live on the podcast.
Oh, it's got
Packages.
it's black micarta with copper flakes in it.
Oh, okay.
What the hell's that?
I don't know. It's pretty thick. It's called Cop-O Rag. COP-O-Rag.
Oh, it's trying to
Uh,
be like old rag micarta.
Hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, with the copper. They're like copper. It looks like chips, like from drilling.
That's
Put it up
interesting.
to the camera.
Ah,
Oh, that's
Oh.
weird.
Pretty cool.
that's kinda
Look,
neat.
another customer was from China, I think. He was asking me to quote all these different builds, like 5 or 6 of them, like just full dress and Damascus and stainless, satin, blasted, just a million combinations. And I got back to him constantly, with all the things, and he kept changing his mind. And then he ended up sending me this piece of carbon fiber with like shreds. It's got like little tints of like a metallic blue in there, copper. He just sent me that for my time, which I thought that was pretty nice. He didn't.
Great time. That's pretty cool.
And
Oh,
I
that's
sold
nice.
a couple knives for myself. I think I sold one out of that material, and I got a little bit of that left. It's cool, but I wish I knew where he got it from.
That was nice of him to respect you enough, though, to hook it up,
Yeah, I have a full price list of stuff nowadays, so I don't have to quote people individual. Here's the list. Here are all the prices. Just figure out what you want, and I'll give you advice on the bill.
Yeah, that's what I do. If someone calls and orders like an instigator, double homicide with, titanium bolsters and carbon fiber, I can give them a pretty good estimate, within a couple $100.
Do you do a lot of? I mean, do you get a lot of interactions from collectors through Instagram or through social media? Just contacting you up. Do you do a lot of private orders?
I used to. I closed my books a couple years ago because too many people call and say, "Hey, can I get on your books for a whatever model?" And I would just ask if they wanted a frame lock or liner lock at that time, just so I could get the parts ready, and then I'd contact them, or I'd have the knife ready, and they'd be like, "Oh man, kid just got braces, broke his arm, wife needed surgery," or
They flake out.
there's always an excuse. They flake out. Well, they don't realize, show a little respect and give me a call, give me a heads up, say, "Hey, I really appreciate it when people call or contact me and tell me that it's not, their money is going to be tight, or something happened and they're going to have to back out." That's fine. I don't have a problem with anyone doing that. But when I got my time into it already, or you call and order a full dress knife, and I spend $600 or $1,000 on a piece of black Damascus or zirconia, and ask for a down payment. When I ask for a down payment, it's just for materials typically, and you call them and ask for the to pay what they said that they would, and then they're like, "Oh man, I can't do it right now." And I'm like, "Oh shit, I just bought all these materials. Not that I have a hard time using them."
Right.
Yeah, usually how I do a $60 deposit, non-refundable. That's the hold to your spot. It's refundable to my discretion. So like if it's like the order's a really long time or something like that, but if they're just backing out like a month in, like that's not refundable. And then I'll take material deposits on special builds when I start the build, but I tend to not like having people's money.
I don't like it either. It takes away the incentive of building a knife. Like I will not take a full payment.
If I take your full payment, I'm not making you that knife. That's not gonna happen. I'll just give you I'll give you a refund.
But it'll be a little bit longer, and it's not that I choose to do that. It's just the way, I try to be as honest in everything as I can.
Yeah.
And I take a lot of pride in my honesty. If I screw something up, I'm gonna tell you, hey, I screwed this up, man. I had to put a bigger stop pin in there. There's nothing wrong with it, but I just like people. I just tell people I'm a little too honest sometimes, But,
yeah, stuff like that. It's like they're gonna think something's wrong with it, but like there's nothing wrong with it. It just, if I didn't tell you, you'd never know. I just put a different stop in it. It's a little bigger.
Yeah. Jeff, the more than honest knife maker.
I try.
That's all right. It makes up for the ones that aren't such. So that's good.
Plenty of those out there.
Yeah.
There's plenty of there's good and bad people everywhere.
That's right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's just how it rolls. So for your knife making, you're in your shop and you work primarily from home, right? And you're doing no CNC in house, or you're just doing.
I haven't done any CNC or water jetting. Everything that I've sold has been cut on my bandsaw and milled on my Bridgeport and ground on the TW90.
Wow. All right. So that's how it has been, and that's how it probably will be.
Yeah, I used to work out of Jeremy's shop before I had anything. I used to be able to park the Grand Cherokee and the Wrangler in the garage every night.
Oh, wow.
And now I can't even get the Wrangler in here to put the hardtop on there for the winter. It's going to take me half a day to move stuff around to do that. So I worked at Jeremy's. I'd work there like more than he did, really. I was in a shop. Like when he'd go in and go to bed or whatever, and I'd be like, all right, I'm just going to finish this up, and that was at like 2, and then it's like 6 in the morning, and I'm still there working. And yeah, I got a little carried away for a while with my hours. I was working quite a bit.
So you got into it pretty quick, and you were addicted to the knife making. You were having fun.
That's why I'm a full-time knife maker, is because I would go to Jeremy's, work on knives until sometimes 4 in the morning, and then come home, go to bed for an hour, wake up, and go to work. And let's just say I wasn't that productive. And then as soon as I'd get out of work, I'd grab my toolbox and head over to Jeremy's and just be ramming.
So
that's where my heart was.
And what time did you become full time? That was it. Like as soon as you were working with Jeremy, you were hooked.
No, I've been working with Jeremy the whole time in his shop.
Okay.
Because I didn't have anything,
Right.
I became full time because I was going to Jeremy's and working there late, and I got laid off from my job. And I told my wife, because I was married at one time. I told her, I'm like, I just want to make knives. I don't even want to work at Brigade anymore. And she's like, no, And then and
where did you live that you could do that?
I came home from work one day and I told her that I don't even know if I'm pretty sure I got laid off, but my boss came up to me and said, Jeff, you got a minute at the end of the day on a Friday? And I'm like, yeah, just a minute. I was like into my work, and I just looked up at him and I go, do I need to pack up my shit? And he just nodded, kind of gave me a sad look and nodded. And I was scared as hell because I was going, my wife said she was filing for divorce, and I lost my job, and I got a house to pay for and bills. So I was scared. I didn't know if I could make it. And I asked Jeremy if he thought I could, and he's like, no.
Damn.
So much encouragement.
Yeah.
It's like,
At least he kept it real. He's like,
everything's going to shit.
not.
I always say this to Megan. Like, can I make this? You think it's a smart idea to go make knives? Like, no. Just don't. Just don't, man.
But I did. I set I set a goal like that I had to make I average 1.5 knives per week.
Okay.
And as long as I did that, I'd be fine. So I did that, and I went above and beyond that, and I was doing really good, I think.
So you kind of like you were thinking about it, and then you were falling in love with knife making, and then really life was like, look, man, like now's the time, like you got to do this.
I didn't have a choice.
Sometimes that's the best time. Like people really, we talk to a lot of people, and I'm sure we all do, but sometimes knife making really it's that thing that saves people from doing something else. Yeah, exactly. Like really, and that's part of what sometimes collectors lose, or the market loses track of it. This is a job. I mean, this is not, when you're full time, it's not a hobby. It's 100% job. You've got bills to pay.
Right. And yeah, when I started making knives, and my dad told me he was proud of me, and my mom, she shows her friends pictures and stuff, and it's a good feeling that people, that your parents are proud of you for what you're doing. And I don't know, it's rewarding, like just to work with your hands and be able to make a living, and it's nice to not have to go anywhere.
And you're making something that's coming from you. You're not actually working for somebody.
Yeah.
Some job. Like you're making something that's from the heart,
And
I wish I don't have to go anywhere. I wish my shop was at home. Working on that. Right now, my shop is 30 minutes away, plus a $12 toll every single day.
Mm.
Yeah, there's no forgetting stuff at home then.
Yeah, that's not great.
Nick just needs to move out of New York.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if my shop was 100 yards away from the house. Like if I had some property and had a pole barn that, you didn't just walk in. That's what I want. I want to do that, and I've been thinking about it, but I just don't have time to move.
What state are you in?
Michigan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's my thing. It's like I pay such ridiculous bills, but like I could literally just move over to PA and save about $1,500 a month. But like it's the time moving is also like a thing. It's like I'm saying I'll save $1,500 a month, but like moving is a thing. Like moving this fucking machine here is not easy. It's like 5,000 pounds of high-tech stuff.
Just all right. So you gotta shut everything down, and then you gotta pack it up and move it, and then into your new place, and then you gotta wire the shop. You gotta build the shop like however you want it before. You can't just. It's not like throwing a bed up and sleeping in your new house. You gotta. It'll take some time. Like I'd figured I gotta save up enough to have like 2 months off work probably.
Oh,
That's essentially there's like you see the camera. This thing when I came into the shop, it was just one big room. Had to build the walls, had to build the ceiling, had to build pretty much everything. There's no electrical. All this electrical I ran myself. There was nothing here. It was about 2 months of actual build out.
Yeah,
that's tables and build the electrical, get the outlets where I need them to be, get some air lines.
Yeah, I did mine like my shop started as a grinding bench that I built, and then I built like a bulkhead with a bunch of can lights so it'd be nice and bright, and then I had this little crappy air compressor, and I got another one, and then now I've got an even bigger one. So I took that crappy air compressor apart and put the tank up in my attic, and then I ran I think 3 or 4 inch PVC across the peak of my attic just for air volume storage or whatever. And I just did little things like, as I needed them. When I got the air compressor, that's when I did that. And I don't know.
Yeah, like it slowly expands based on like what you need or what you're working on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all started somewhere.
Yeah.
I started with a 4x4 bench in the basement of an apartment building. I have this.
Yep.
What the hell is that? Some giant animal just ran across my roof.
That will happen.
I live in New York. We don't have that like big animals on my roof. It makes no sense.
Now that I got all this
just rats
stuff, though, now to build a shop, you got to build a complete shop.
Yeah. Yeah, like all the small things kind of come together like that. Yeah, you were saying today that you just you got ventilation in the shop.
I don't know if I got an
Sort of.
air filter, and actually I started because I took after the gathering when I got home from Vegas. I told myself I was going to take some time off, and because I'm always overwhelmed, I never have time to take a break. I don't have time to call my friends or to talk to them. I got friends that stop by, you know, and I'm working, and we're just talking and hanging out, but I'm working,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I just needed time to myself to do stuff, so I was on Amazon and bought that thing that Nick told me to buy, that when air filtration thing. I got that, set that up, and then I bought just a bunch of random fittings and tubing to make a dust collector type thing. And I took a 5-gallon bucket and drilled a 2x4 in along the top of it, and then drilled like 2 holes in it so I can put a hose in one side and the other, so it make like a cyclone thing. I don't know. I just saw that on the internet or something that
Yeah.
you know, I could make something like that.
You're gonna want to fill that with a little bit of water. It makes a mess, but like you're dealing with sparks. So if you start using like and wood, and then you go to metal, you're gonna light that thing on fire. I did it a couple times.
Well, I'm worried about burning my vacuum starting on fire. Because when you're throwing sparks and you got that suction, that airflow, those sparks get brighter when they hit the.
They stay lit.
Yeah, and I got see-through tubing, so you can see it going into there. And we were at Jeremy's at one time. One of his buddies was over there, and he started his good shop back on fire, burnt the motor up.
I've lit 6 vacuums on fire.
Like Jeff, you work in a lot of Zerk, man. Like you must like the shop fire is like an ever-present thing. And Black Damascus, like you go through that stuff like crazy.
Yeah, I had more fires from titanium.
Really?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because when I'm using that
grind it faster.
Black Damascus, I'll grind it hard, and once it burns, it's not going to burn again. You know, when you're throwing sparks, those sparks they're burnt. They're ashes when they're done. If you're grinding it slow and you're grinding and throwing little pieces there, like this is the worst thing that I do is when you're using a Trizac or whatever, an A65 belt, and you're not throwing sparks and profiling the edges, and you're holding something like a clip or something, it throws that dust, and that dust piles up on the end of your finger, and then one spark, and it's like lighting a fuse on your finger.
Oh, shit.
Oh, that's the worst. The worst thing that I got in the shop was I had a circuit tie pile up on the webbing between my thumb and my pointer.
Yeah.
I've heard the story like 12 times.
Yeah, it was bad. Like it was. I don't know what degree burn it was, but I was in pain for a couple of weeks. Kind of because it wouldn't go out. It kind of welded to my skin. I felt my hand in the grinding bucket, but water doesn't put out that fire. It's too hot.
Yeah, this is way before Instagram.
We're not fast enough, at least.
It was literally burning underwater. It just had to burn itself out. By the time I did that, it was just a little white hole in the webbing.
Yeah, the other thing that I've had, I haven't really had a fire, but I've got tubes for launching mortars, and I cut the tops off of those, made it a little shorter, and I cut strips of sandpaper that I fold those up or whatever and use a push stick when I'm finishing blades. Well, I've got those tubes. They're on the side that the sparks typically don't go to, and a spark hit the paper, and it kind of just sat there and smoldered. I'm like, what the hell's on fire? I'm like looking around. I can smell smoke. I smell something burning, but it's like smoldering in there, and up like half of my sandpaper.
Oof.
Damn.
All right.
And then the other thing would be on the mill. When you're milling Black Damascus or Zerk, and you throw a chip, and the first time you try to blow it out with air, well, that doesn't work.
No, that's definitely how you do it.
Twist it off. So you just got to be smart with it.
Yeah. Not necessarily OSHA approved.
No, there's
your shop there, Jeff.
OSHA approved in here.
Yeah.
Just
no knife shop is.
A lot.
My shop is somewhat because I have to pass codes.
I don't think that knife making is OSHA approved. How about that?
No, the profession
that's
itself is.
Wait, you're making
Fuck.
sharp things that no, that's not good. That's
For
great.
every 100 times I cut myself in the shop, only one of them was from a knife.
Oh shit, is that right?
Yeah, I used to put my fingers in the bandsaw, I think, just for the fun of it.
Oh shit.
Oh, yeah?
What's wrong with you? What's wrong
Feel
with you, Jeff?
adrenaline rush.
Goddamn.
I used to, I don't
Sometimes
know, I'd be
the
rushing to
monotony
do
just
something, and I was
overwhelms you.
tired, being up for a few days, and I used to drink a lot of beer.
You know what? Fuck it.
And you're
your
kind of
hand
cutting
right
out a pocket clip, and you're pushing on it, and you just slip off of it and go right into the bandsaw, right down to the bone.
Oh man. All right.
On that though.
Yeah, I did that with the pointer finger too. I was cutting carbon fiber with the tie liner, and I didn't see that I finished cutting through the tie, so I just completely shot through the carbon. I just went right through the middle, about a quarter inch.
Yeah. Now my fingers get numb when it's like 60 degrees out.
Oh. All right. So no feeling anyway. You're good.
Yeah. They get so numb that I don't know. It sucks. I don't like it. They're just beat up so many times.
The nerve endings are all shocked.
Pretty much, yeah. Like when I feel my fingers, I can tell. I can feel the numbness or whatever. But
yeah. So, is there any future plans? I know you say you're not working on any new designs, but any new projects that you're working on, or collabs, or whatever?
oh, actually, I'm not gonna say any names or whatever. But I talked to you about grinding some blades. Are we gonna do that?
Are we doing
I'm not gonna
that?
mention any names, but like.
If we talk about it,
What's
I
up?
got distracted.
if we talked about it,
Someone contacted me on Instagram, and it's a double-edged dagger folder. It's kind of cool. He asked me if I was interested in doing a collab, and I asked him what he had in mind or where he lived, and he sent me a picture. I'm like, yeah, send it to me, and I'll take a look at it and see if it's something that's.
I remember our conversation now. I completely forgot. It was like at 2 a.m. in the Vegas casino. I was drunk off my ass, and you were wearing an Armani shirt. It was the first time I've seen you wearing sleeves. Okay, I remember some conversation now.
Jeff was looking sharp, dude. Got that new shirt on.
Yep.
Yeah,
I cut the sleeves off of that when I got home. No, I'm just
Just some $700 shirt.
yeah.
I'll take the sleeves off now. I left Vegas.
Touchdown on the tarmac. Cut those fucking sleeves off. Done.
Yeah,
Once you're in Michigan, you know.
That's
I
great.
thought about making the
for
card
road
out.
book.
That's
Yeah,
legit.
we popped up. I saw Jeff. He was like well dressed, had sleeves, had his pants weren't cut into shorts. I was like,
No, those are like Armani tailored pants that I bought years ago.
no, I haven't ever. I've always seen you. You've always, every time I see you, you always have an old shirt that you cut the sleeves off of, and then you have pants that you cut the pant legs off of.
No, I buy those. Those are like True Religion shorts, but
Those are pre-made. I gotcha.
I buy them like that. And that's me though, man. That's how I feel comfortable.
That's how I expect to see you. That's why when I saw you in like
Right.
The VanderMeulen style. Yeah.
I was like,
Well,
Are you okay?
there was some guys from the gathering that they knew me, and not that good, but I walked up to them and I was wearing that, and then I was wearing those red bottoms too. That
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Beautiful suited up. I forgot.
So I walk up to these guys and I'm like, or I asked them how it's going, and they just kind of like pushed his arm up like to shoo me away, like fuck off, you know. And I'm like, and then I thought about, I'm like, and then I just go, did you enjoy the show? And they're like, what show? And I go, the gathering. And then he's like, oh, you're Jeff VanderMeulen. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, I didn't recognize you with the $1,500 shoes and shirt and stuff. I looked like one of those, I don't know, like one of those guys that are trying to sell you shit or
All
promote.
dressed up for Vegas, my dude.
Yeah.
That's great.
I like getting stuff once in
The
a while.
Vegas look.
Yeah.
You should have told me you just robbed a dealer.
Yeah, there you go.
Should have.
So possible collabs with unnamed people in the future / named people.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty good. And you're working on Bally songs.
Yeah, because you've been bugging me for so long.
Hell yeah. That's great.
What I want to do is, Travis Wirtz.
Yeah.
Him and I, we hang out all the time when we go to like at the shows or whatever. He's a good friend, and he was talking. I need to go out there and we need to make something. And I have no idea what we'd make, but it would be cool.
There you go. That's your next fixed blade collab.
There you go.
Yeah, like a sword or something.
Yeah,
I
there
see
you
you
go.
guys doing that.
I don't know about that. That's a little crazy. I don't even know what we'd make.
Travis is a little crazy.
Yeah. We'd have fun making it.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I had a bunch of money saved up so I could take some time off and do that. Like, I don't know. I thought about going out west again to Tyler Turner's out in Missouri. And I went out there deer hunting one time and we just hung out and
knives.
we didn't make knives, we talked knives. He's came a long way since then, like 3 years ago, getting some equipment, and man, that dude, he does some good work, like some nice quality, fine work. But I don't know.
All in good time in the future.
Yeah, there's options.
There you go.
So we're about past that hour mark. Is there anything else you'd like to put in, Jeff, before we start wrapping it up?
I don't know.
Well, so your books are closed.
No, they're not closed. They're open. I could really go for some orders because I don't have. I'm working on my last order right now.
Well, what's the best way for people to contact you?
Phone.
You want to give your phone number?
Yeah, shoot your phone number out there, man.
All right, it's on my Instagram profile and it's on my social media, but it's 616-293-1248.
And don't forget, ladies, he's single.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I'm single.
So looking for orders on all fronts on that one.
Email. Don't even think about emailing me because I won't check it.
No email, but you do text.
I don't check my email. I'll reply to people that emailed me like 3 years ago, and it's more just like joking around. But
his books are open, and he's looking for casual encounters.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think
the best thing to do is call. And I know that some people are overseas or whatever, and they can't call, and I'll text with them like that. But
well, what about DMs on Instagram? Is that
just to get my attention? But then I say, give me a call. Like if you got spa treatment, if you got an issue, don't text me because I'm a dick when people text. Like I answer questions, yes, no. I don't get into stories. I don't like type. And if you got a problem and I'm like thinking about it, I don't know.
You want to talk?
I can talk about it and everything's fine. But when you text, especially with an issue, there's no like emotion behind it or like tone. It's like yes or no. I just sound like I could be telling them to F off or but I'm not. I'm just I don't know. I just don't like texting and shit.
Okay, so definitely pick up the phone, give you a call.
Pick up the phone and call me. And if I don't answer or whatever, just call back. That's the only thing. I don't check voicemails either.
just see him at Blade Show.
Just call until Jeff answers.
Yeah, just call.
And then
it's the first or second or third time. Just call it. Just keep calling.
Just calling. All right.
Yeah, well, I don't have a problem with that. And then you get me on the phone, and then it freaking takes forever because I get talking sometimes. But
he likes to talk.
Yeah. Well, the guy gets lonely in the shop. It's just me and Sandy. Sandy doesn't talk. Sometimes, if I hadn't talked to anyone in a while, I'd be a little more talkative, I guess. But
Good time. All right.
Well, with that, Nick Schuprin of NCC Knives out.
Elijah Isham of Isham Blade Works, signing off.
All right, everybody. Thanks again for another awesome episode of Bladeology. This is Jeremiah Burbank signing off.
Jeff VanderMeulen out.